Well, the Congress party has been winning elections for a long time, but finally a big victory. It was game, set and match for the Congress in Karnataka as the party returned to power in the state, securing a remarkable victory with 135 seats. With this result, the BJP lost control of the only southern state under its rule. And all of this happening months ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls, which is why there's a lot of interest in how this is potentially going to impact 2024. If at all, there are those who will say that a state election has absolutely no bearing on the national election. But let's just take a look at what actually did happen in Karnataka, where, as I said, the final tally stood at 135 for the Congress, 66 for the BJP. The JDS fell to 90.
With a mace, with a mantra and a message.
हमने नफरत से गलत शब्दों से ये लड़ाई नहीं लड़ी। हमने मोहब्बत से, प्यार से, दिल खोल के ये लड़ाई लड़ी।
Rahul Gandhi in Karnataka, a marketplace of hatred has been shut down and shops of love have opened. This is how the Congress celebrated its first major solo victory since the 2019 general elections in the quarter-final of next year's Lok Sabha polls. The Karnataka election results have resulted in a lot of speculation about its impact on the 2024 elections. Let's take a look at three ways in which ripples from the southern state might reverberate across the nation, but whether it will rock some boats remains to be seen. The most obvious fallout might be that Congress may find greater acceptance among other opposition parties during talks for a possible alliance for 2024. Before the Karnataka result, those leading the campaign for a joint opposition charge like Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee were gunning for the Congress. While KCR said that Congress and BJP are the same, with Tera Ambani to Mera Adani, Mamata Banerjee claimed that the Congress and BJP have an unholy alliance. After the Karnataka result, Mamata said that she is ready to support Congress where it is strong, with the caveat that the party must not oppose her in Bengal. Some other non-BJP parties were circumspect in their congratulations. In their first reactions, Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav hailed the message that Karnataka sent to BJP, and Lalu Yadav's RJD mocked the BJP over the Bajrang Dal controversy, but didn't name the Congress. The second way in which Karnataka might affect the Lok Sabha elections is the campaign agenda. In Karnataka, the BJP deepened on its religious narrative with issues like the Bajrang Bali controversy and the Uniform Civil Code, apart from development promise of double-engine government. To counter this, the Congress focused on local issues and pushed its promise of 5 guarantees: free electricity, free rice to poor, unemployment allowance to the youth, financial aid to women heads of families, and free bus travel for women. During the 2019 campaign, the Congress had announced a minimum income guarantee scheme for the poor, but mainly attempted to counter the Modi narrative by raising allegations of corruption in the Rafale jet deal with slogans like "Chaukidar Chor Hai." The party can now be inspired to replicate the Karnataka model and pick local issues to take the attention away from BJP's messaging. However, voter behavior is often different in state elections and parliamentary elections. This places a question mark on how successful a local agenda would be in a national poll. Karnataka is the only southern state where BJP has ever been in power. With its defeat, the Saffron Party has lost the state, which could be its gateway to the rest of South India. But will this impact the BJP's tally in the Lok Sabha? Karnataka sends 28 MPs to the Parliament's lower house. In the current Lok Sabha, 25 of them belong to the BJP. The Congress has just 1. If the latest assembly results are projected onto parliamentary constituencies, then the Congress may win 20, the BJP 4, and the JDS 1, with 3 up for grabs. But Karnataka's voters appear to have different preferences for the state and the centre. In the 2018 assembly polls, Karnataka threw up a hung verdict, but in the 2019 general elections, the state voted emphatically for the BJP. In the 2013 assembly election, the Congress won 122 out of 224 seats, while the BJP won just 40. But in the 2014 parliament polls, the Saffron Party took 17 seats, while Congress won 9. Similarly, in the 2008 state polls, the BJP had 110 seats and the Congress 80. But in the 2009 national elections, the difference was huge, with BJP winning 19 and Congress winning 6. Thus, there are good and some not so encouraging takeaways for both sides from the Karnataka polls. How the parties implement their learnings with 1 year to go before the big election remains to be seen. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
So how is Karnataka and other political developments going to impact the run-up to 2024? Well, as always in India, the answer to that really depends pretty much on whom you talk to. And we're going to get two different political voices, divergent political voices, to help us understand that. Let's start, of course, by talking to Yogendra Yadav, who's not now a sophologist anymore, but Yogendra, you do spend all of your time looking at politics, and I think it's probably better to describe you as a political activist right now. But how do you think it's looking? How do you think 2024 is now looking after what's happened in Karnataka?
I'm glad you clarified, Vikram, because I don't pretend to be a neutral political analyst. I'm a political activist. But political activists must not lie to themselves. To my mind, the biggest significance, the real significance of Karnataka Assembly election goes beyond Karnataka, and which is that it still keeps 2024 in an open mode. 2024 is an open election, which is not how the BJP would like it to be. The BJP ideally would like there to be a walkover before the match begins. But Karnataka verdict has ensured that the opposition now has the morale. Post Bharat Jodo Yatra, the momentum that the Congress gained seems to be persisting. This does not, of course, ensure that the Congress will win or the opposition will win 2024. It doesn't even ensure that they would win Karnataka in 24. What it does ensure is that it still is an open match.
Right, Yogendra. So, the big question, of course, that is going to be asked is the extent to which any state election can be seen as forecasting what happens in a national election, especially after what happened in 2018, 2019. I mean, look, whatever happened in Karnataka, it was a vote for the Chief Minister of Karnataka, not a vote for the Prime Minister of the country, and that's where then the Narendra Modi factor and all could start to kick in potentially in the general election. As I was saying, even in 2018, you had the Congress winning Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, losing all of those states when it came to the national election.
We cannot be sure. It is true that Karnataka Assembly election does not point even to the Telangana Assembly elections, which are likely to happen in a few months' time. And Karnataka is one of those states where we have seen split voting, one way in Assembly, another way in Lok Sabha. So, as I said, it's not sure. No one can be confident that Karnataka Assembly election results definitely points to a BJP defeat or a Congress victory in 2024. But the important thing is simply this, and that's the point I wanted to underline, that if the BJP had won Karnataka Assembly election, then doors for 2024 would have been shut. Everyone in television studios in discussions like this would be saying 2024 is a done deal. Let's talk about 2029. That's not happening. If BJP had won, they would have said Bharat Jodo Yatra phus ho gayi, finished. No point in talking about it. Rahul Gandhi people still think is a pappu. Congress is a non-starter. All that has not happened. That, to my mind, is important. There is a battle. No one can be sure of what the battle would achieve, but there is a battle, and that itself is important in times like this. And the second important thing of Karnataka verdict is that it shows us a template that the opposition can use. And to my mind, the template is very simple. Focus on the bottom of the pyramid, base of the pyramid. If you look at 4 variables, caste, the Congress got support of Ahindas, which are the SC, ST, OBC Muslims of Karnataka class. The poorer you are, the higher is the lead for the Congress among the voters. Gender, women gave Congress much bigger margin than was the case among men, and rural urban. It's only in the rural areas that Congress has actually won this election. In the urban areas, it was neutralized. So the template for the opposition for 2024 is focus on the bottom of the pyramid, align your policies and priorities to the bottom of the pyramid, keep it simple, do not get distracted in Bajrang Bali or any such stuff, and hold your nerves. If that is what opposition can achieve, it still is an open game.
Now, Yogendra, I remember you yourself rather famously a couple of years back had said that the Congress party needs to die for the opposition to survive. And that, I suspect, was really because then there would have been space for the other opposition parties to come up and to challenge the BJP at a time. And it was looking as if the Congress was not actually in a position to do so. What is your sense right now? Is the Congress actually in a position to fight the BJP in the states where it is strong? And also, how will this result now affect this entire game of opposition unity and how will that play itself out? Because it could be argued that the Congress becomes more assertive than it would have been if it had lost Karnataka as well, and therefore its demands therefore go up more, and it's tougher to have opposition unity.
Vikram, I said Congress must die. This was 2019, just in the wake of exit polls, when it was absolutely clear that the Congress did not even contest the elections seriously. There wasn't even a serious challenge. And I had said, if you cannot take this assault on the Constitution by the BJP in such a critical election, you might as well not exist. What we have witnessed in the last 1 year or so is Congress has shown willingness to come to the street. The Bharat Jodo Yatra and many other things that Congress has done show a willingness to take on the BJP, willingness to take to street, mobilize people, and willingness to speak about big issues that need to be spoken about. I do not remember any mainstream opposition party leader talking about Adani. Rahul has shown the courage to talk about Adani, to talk about the biggest international scandal. It's not even a national scandal, it's an international scandal that the Indian media wouldn't touch. Rahul has shown this capacity to address it. So yes, if someone is doing what I always thought Congress was not doing, then they deserve to be supported. About opposition unity, Vikram, my thesis has been, and I've been writing about it, that it's a massively overplayed factor. A grand nationwide Mahagathbandhan of the opposition is neither likely nor necessary, not even desirable, because in a sense it would give Mr. Modi just that thing that he needs. Oh, everyone is against me, poor me against everyone else, things of that kind. And if you look at the electoral geography of India, state by state, actually, wherever you need opposition unity, it has already been achieved. Maharashtra, Bihar, Jharkhand, Tamil Nadu. And in most other places, it's either unachievable, Uttar Pradesh or Karnataka, or there is no one to ally with. Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. Who else would you have opposition unity with? So in a sense, this whole emphasis on opposition unity, to my mind, is really overplayed. In any case, it's premature. Yes, no one party will be able to replace the BJP. Yes, every party is taking on the BJP in their own respective states. And yes, there will be opposition unity, I can guarantee you, within 48 hours after the election results. But trying to achieve it a year before the election is premature and is counterproductive.
All right, Yogendra Yadav, it promises to be a really interesting and exciting year ahead, and we'll keep coming back to you to get more and more perspectives on the way things are panning out. Thank you so much for having joined us. Well, let's get another point of view also on what Karnataka may or may not mean for 2024. Joining us now, Yashwant Deshmukh, election analyst, director and founding editor of See Voters. Also been doing a lot of sample sizes to try and figure out exactly what is coming up. Hi, Yashwant. So you've also been looking at the data. You've done a number of polls out there. What are the numbers telling you? What could Karnataka possibly mean for 2024?
Well, one thing is clear, Vikram, that, in the last 10 odd years, we have seen this phenomena of split vote setting in all the other states. And by the way, Karnataka was actually one of those states which started the split voting. I mean, picking up a different party in different layers of election way back, at the time of Ramakrishna Hegdeji I would strongly suggest that anybody who is trying to draw too much from Karnataka result for 2024, I would be very, very cautious to do that, because when we did the exit poll, Vikram, where we clearly pointed out that Congress is winning Karnataka, hands down it is winning Karnataka. And in fact, in the last 18 months, Vikram, in our tracker, there was not even a single day that BJP's vote share actually overtook Congress in that one. So it was a very crisp and clear mandate. But in the same exit poll, when we asked 40,000 people across Karnataka, we also asked, whom would you have voted for if today, if the Lok Sabha elections would have voted? So the approximately 5-point lead that the Congress was having in the raw data got into a almost 9-point deficit on this particular question, which means there was almost a 15% reverse swing of sort on the question of Vidhan Sabha voting intent and the Lok Sabha voting intent. So this is pretty much in line with the phenomena that we have been observing in the last 10 odd years, Vikram, that people have different voting preferences. However, what would be interesting to see, what if Karnataka impact also gears up Congress into winning cycle of other state elections which are slated this year. Say, for example, Telangana, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. And if at all Congress manages to win a couple of more, then will it have a different kind of an impact on the national mood or not? That remains to be seen.
Right. Yashwant, what you're saying is really interesting when it comes to the data, because let's remember the Congress won many of those states in 2018, went on to lose all of those states virtually with a full landslide margin when it came to 2019. Now, you're saying that your data is saying that on the day of the Karnataka election, if there had been a national election in Karnataka, the BJP would have swept Karnataka, although the Congress won by a landslide in Vidhan Sabha. That's what you're saying the data is showing you.
Absolutely. We kind of try to quantify that number, and we realized that if the election would have happened on the same day, Congress would have won with the scale which it won, but BJP probably would have won 20 to 22 Lok Sabha seats out of 28 in Karnataka on the same day. And so that's a kind of a contrast as far as the Lok Sabha and the assembly voting intents are concerned.
All right, Yashwant, so difference between Vidhan Sabha and Lok Sabha is something that everyone should keep in mind. Now, a lot of people are also trying to figure out what the opposition is going to do to try and get some sort of unity, make everything bipolar. That's the lesson that some in the opposition are deriving. Make everything into a bipolar contest, have a one-to-one fight in every seat across the country versus the BJP. Make it also some sort of a collection of state elections. That's the way to go. What would be your interpretation or your analysis of that?
But Karnataka was hardly bipolar. Janata Dal Secular did not go hand in hand with the Congress. In fact, the evidence suggests the other way around, Vikram, because in 2019 Lok Sabha, Karnataka, Congress and JDS were in alliance. And that actually ended up giving BJP 51% vote share over there. We have seen the bipolarity is actually in Uttar Pradesh, for example, when Sapa and Baspa, SP-BSP came together in Uttar Pradesh, that ended up BJP securing almost 50% votes. And that bipolarity of the election actually ended up helping the BJP. And it is very easy to understand why does that happen, Vikram, for a simple reason that we forget many a time that all these non-BJP, non-Congress parties which are in by the way, which are ruling so many states at this point of time, their roots of their electoral success, Vikram, have been into anti-Congressism at large. All these Janata Parivar constituents of yesterday, their entire political game plan started with being anti-Congressism in nature. So whenever we talk about a complete opposition unanimity in that way, somehow we forget that there would be number of voters which would not be voting for them simply because they do not like Congress in that way. That bipolarity, or in that way, there are inherent contradictions as far as the opposition unity is concerned. So a big number of people, Mayawati supporters who did not vote to support a SP candidate, they voted for the BJP. So, and vice versa. That happened, and that drove the BJP vote share up. Janata Dal secular voters who did not vote for the Congress candidates in Karnataka, they voted for the BJP. And still Janata Dal secular has got 12% votes in Karnataka. So while this all looks good on paper in arithmetic, but this is highly flawed calculation as per my limited understanding. Arithmetic and chemistry, we all know, are two different things. Many a time when they work fine, it's okay. But if the chemistry doesn't work well, then arithmetic goes for a toss.
Right, Yashwant Deshmukh, you've given us a lot to think about. As I've been saying, it's going to be a fascinating year. Lots to understand, lots to analyze, lots to interpret, lots to think about. Thank you so much for joining us to help us understand some of the permutations.